What should be next for Khamzat Chimaev? The hype is now officially back. The guy's reclaimed his aura, whatever you want to call it. The hype is real again for Khamzat Chimaev after he's coming off that massive win over Robert Whittaker at UFC 308, where he essentially broke Robert Whittaker's face in the first round. Even before that, before he broke Whittaker's jaw, I don't know if it was his jaw or his chin with that crank, but before that he was ragdolling Robert Whittaker anyway, and it kind of looked like there was only one way that fight was going to go. In my opinion, Khamzat Chimaev is easily the best first round fighter we've ever seen. Like, this guy's insane. In the first round, I don't know who beats this guy. I really don't know if anybody at middleweight can beat him. I don't even know if anybody at light heavyweight can beat him. He is that good. I'm definitely on board the Khamzat Chimaev hype train now. This guy is legit. Now, in my opinion, there is only one matchup that makes sense for him. There's one matchup that everybody wants to see, and that is Dricus du Plessis. I want to that rhymes. I want to see Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP next. That's the fight that makes the most sense. I don't want to see DDP versus Strickland. I think skip up that matchup and give it to Khamzat. And if DDP beats Khamzat, then let him fight Strickland. We just can't miss this opportunity now with Khamzat. I mean, the guy is coming off a massive win over Robert Whittaker, which is better than anything Strickland has done since he lost to DDP. But we'll get into that in a minute. He's coming off a massive win. He's not injured. He's in the prime of his career. It's one of the biggest fights you can make in MMA right now in the UFC is having Khamzat Chimaev challenge DDP for the title. Could you imagine if the UFC are looking to go to South Africa, if they had that fight in South Africa? That's mega. Now, I know they won't do that fight in South Africa. For me, I think you try and get Khamzat to make the turnaround, which I think he will because he took zero damage in there against Robert Whittaker at UFC 308. I think you say to Khamzat, right, you're fighting DDP at UFC 312 in Perth or Sydney, wherever the fuck it is. It's in Australia anyway, because they were meant to be doing DDP Strickland 2 over in Australia. I think you have to skip up Strickland now. I mean, from all the talk I've been seeing online, a lot of people are agreeing as well. Like, let's just look at what Sean Strickland has done in the last year. So he defended his title against DDP at the start of the year in January. He lost. Now, yes, it was a close fight. Don't get me wrong, it was an extremely close fight. But for me, DDP won it. But it was close. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to scream robbery like a lot of people do. But I thought it was extremely close. I had DDP winning. Then he went on and beat Paulo Costa by split decision. Let that sink in. He beat Paulo Costa by split decision in June and has sat out since then. A lot of people were saying maybe him and Whittaker should fight to see who the number one was. Instead, Whittaker decided, no, I'm going to fight Khamzat Chimaev. And in the end, was not the wrong move, but it's cost Whittaker his title shot. I mean, Whittaker is at least 2-3 wins away now from being considered for fighting for the belt again. But Sean Strickland, after he got a split decision win over Paulo Costa, who, by the way, was coming off a loss to Robert Whittaker. It's not as if Paulo Costa was on this crazy win streak at the time when Strickland fought him. He was coming off a loss to Robert Whittaker. And if we want to compare Sean Strickland's performance to Robert Whittaker's, yes, Strickland didn't get caught with the big shot that Whittaker did with a spinning heel kick in round one. But Whittaker beat Paulo Costa more convincingly, in my opinion, than what Sean Strickland did, and did it in a more entertaining fashion. So that's what Sean Strickland has done this year. He's lost to DDP and beat Paulo Costa, who was coming off a losing streak. Where if you compare that to Khamzat Chimaev, yes, the guy has only fought once in the past 2 years, and I thought it should have been a draw against Kamaru Usman, but his last two fights he's beat Usman, a pound for pound great, or second best welterweight of all time, and Robert Whittaker, the third best middleweight of all time. Back-to-back wins against those guys. I just don't get why the UFC would make Strickland versus DDP over this again. And Sean Strickland's came out and said he's been promised it, it's signed, it's going to be happening. Fuck, go away. I don't want to see you go in there and jab and tape DDP for 5 rounds to try and nick a decision. I want to see DDP in there against Khamzat Chimaev, a completely new matchup. Khamzat Chimaev looks unbeatable. The guy's 14-0 now in his UFC career. People are saying they don't know who beats him. People are saying he looks unbeatable. Why not give us a fresh matchup in DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev? Because it's not as if, as well, Sean Strickland was this long reigning champion in the middleweight division. He won the belt off Israel Adesanya in one of the biggest upsets of all time. An amazing championship performance from him, yes, but he didn't even make a title defense. You know, I understand the argument for Volk getting an immediate title rematch. This guy has multiple title defenses. Sean Strickland doesn't. I don't know why he feels that he is so entitled to this title shot. I don't get it. The guy doesn't have any title defenses. Let's skip up this rematch. Give Khamzat Chimaev the title shot. I think that's what you do. Other people have said maybe Khamzat versus Adesanya. Why? The guy's on a 2-fight losing streak. Why should Israel Adesanya even get that opportunity to fight the clear number one contender again? You know, Adesanya, do Adesanya Strickland too? Both guys are coming off losses to DDP. Well, no, sorry, Strickland's coming off a win. But both guys recently have just lost to DDP. Khamzat Chimaev deserves this opportunity, in my opinion. I think you make it happen. DDP, Khamzat Chimaev, UFC 312. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.